Hey everybody, Daddy Joe here. Haven't been doing a recording for quite a while. Reason being is I have a regular job. I do other things. I'm a feasibility and market analyst for a large family-owned hotel development company. So going on and doing these channels and shows is kind of a little side hobby of mine. Had to put it on the side for a little while. Nonetheless, way back in April of last year, I indicated pretty clearly that the market was going through a bear market. The year of 2023 was for accumulation. Mentioned also there'd be a spring rally and a time to retest the lows in the market and try to pick up a few more coins late fall. That is exactly what happened, and I'm going to show you what I did to basically, in a nutshell, how I predicted that, and you can maybe apply that to your own way of looking at the markets. So in front of us here is the Bitcoin chart on the weekly. I don't go really less than weekly, to be perfectly honest with you, partially because I'm not a degenerative day trader. Some of you guys want to flip-flop between coins on a daily basis. That's fine. Just so you know, about 95% of traders lose in the end, and the reason is nobody's smarter than the entire market. That said, you can watch the entire market move between Euphoria and Capitulation, but on a day-to-day basis, you're not a money maker in a sense like banks are. You're not a market maker in the sense of how exchanges manipulate the markets. You are a regular dude looking at the markets just like everybody else. So you're not an insider, so don't try to pretend to be one and think you're smarter than everybody on the day-to-day basis. Basically what happens is the whales are pushing the markets around on the day-to-day basis. The whales are not some oligarch over in Russia. They are actually the exchanges themselves. They see everybody's orders. How do you play against the house when they can see your hand, but you can't see theirs? Sure, you can go into the funding rate a little bit, and you're kind of at the mercy of whatever they disclose. But at the end of the day, you don't have more information than them. You don't have more information than the people that make the coins. So don't worry about the day-to-day stuff. That'll just get you pushed out of the market. That said, the big market makers can't manipulate the market on a very long time frame. It's much harder to do that. That's more the general market. So going back to the BTC, sorry for the rant there. We see here the 4-year cycle of the Bitcoin price. Most people got screwed up in the last bull run, and I'll show you why. Most people measure the market and Bitcoin price from top to top. That's a problem. You do not measure the market from top to top. The tops of the market are the periods of euphoria, delusion, and basically imaginations. You don't go from the top to top. What you do is you go from the bottom of the market. The bottom of the market is where the rubber hits the road, basically when the bills got to get paid and when people got to make their interest payments and when large organizations got to fulfill their service of debts. If they don't have the money, markets capitulate. Doesn't matter what kind of shadow accountings they have, there comes some point that they got to pay the bill. So I consider the bottom of the markets the time when the market resets. So going from the bottom of the market to the top of the market is the way you can more accurately predict where the market's going to be going and when the next top is. So I'll just give you an example on Bitcoin. Going from the past cycle, taking the entire trend and going from the top to the top, which is what you're not supposed to do, but a lot of people did. This is basically what happened. As you can see here, this screwed up a lot of people. They thought they're in a 4-year cycle. They're going from top to top. Here you ran up into basically February, March, April of 2021, and people thought we were going to continue up. Then when the market corrected, they got kind of caught off guard, but they still thought they had a lot of time to keep collecting coins, do their thing. That's when all the diamond hands and that kind of nonsense was running about in the market and going through meme coins. And as the market came up, they thought they'd still had a lot to go, but the market was already exhausted. Of course, newbies and influencers, they just see the price going up, breaking all-time highs, and they're all cheering, thinking they did their research and measured from top to top, which is what most people did, but that is incorrect. If they dig a little bit deeper, you would have saw here on the RSI, which is basically the buyers versus sellers, you could very clearly see that the buyers were exhausted. That's a very clear indicator that things were done, the market was out of snuff, and things were going to roll over. Now, had you, of course, went from the bottom of the market, like I said, just a second here, guys, to from the capitulation and measure to the top, you can see here very clearly the end was in November of 2021. Also, you would have anticipated here that there was some kind of correction to take place way back in April. And if you knew a correction was going to take place of some sort, you would have been on the lookout for some kind of bearish divergence, which indeed was taking place. That would have been your trigger to take some profits if you wanted, maybe re-enter the game and recognize whatever happens, the top is in a couple months, right? So you don't have to wait for big explosion in price. The top is whatever the top is. And if in November of the time you did your research, you'd sell out. It doesn't matter if the market went even higher or if you thought Euphoria is coming, you just sell out regardless of what you're at and you just vacate. Be happy with your gains. Had you played that game, you would be going from bottom to top, made about a 15x, sold out, waited for bullish divergence, which happened very clearly here, got back in and made basically another doubled your money on top of that. So from 15x to double it, 30x. And that's what I did. I averaged all my coins, it worked out to about 30x in gains. And that's basically how the play was last cycle. Going into the future, it's exactly the same thing. We're going to measure from the bottom of the market. I'm actually taking the cycle from the 2015 year, 2016 bear market, and I'm overlaying it to the current, and you can see this time is not different at all. Day to day, you'd be chopped out using this. Day to day, who knows what's going to happen, right? You can see here, prices go up in the previous cycles, but instead, I should say, the price went down. Then it went up, then it went down. Then here, the price went down, but in the past, it would have told you to go up. Who cares? That's just day-to-day chop. Don't worry about day-to-day chop. You can see, though, that the trend is very clearly repeating itself on a long term with an expected top somewhere around April 2025. And this chart basically repeats itself over and over again. We can take the most current cycle, last period cycle, and measure from the top, from the bottom, the capitulation, and I consider the capitulation in June 2022. You can see on the RSI, everyone's out of the market. They got dumped on, and you can see it's not any different again. We're going up. We got something going on here in October, November 2024. Something might repeat. You can see here there was a plateau, and of course we all know there's an election going on in the United States. So we already know now we got to have a lookout very closely in the markets. We might have some kind of plateau, and we might have a continuation or we might have a correction. At that time, we'll have to look closely if the markets run out of steam. Nonetheless, you can just hold on and the market should top again around April 2025. So that's already two periods that coincide with what the markets should be doing going forward. That's two charts going back almost, let's see here, to 2013, 10 years on Bitcoin. Seems to be coinciding with every other cycle. That's my play. That said, you probably don't care about Bitcoin. Maybe you're going into altcoins, which is fine. Another chart you can look at is the total market cap, which is this here. Looking at the total market cap, we can do the exact same thing. Take the chart, go to the bottom where the crash right here, way back in January 2015. There we go, bottom to top. You can see again, aligns exactly on the last cycle. But if we continue that chart to the current period here, there we go. This time is not different. We're looking at a May 2025. Now this chart here is showing some wild 100, I don't even know what this number is, to be perfectly honest with you. We're looking at a 10 trillion, 100 trillion market cap. I don't know if it's going to go this high. I'm not sure, but the amplitude is suggesting it's possible. I mean, you got an amplitude from the first crypto cycle, from the highs to the lows, and we're going up and we're right on track. So who knows if it's going to go that high? I don't really care what the top price is. I know a lot of people are very focused on price. I'm actually personally more concerned about the timing, which is exactly opposite that they teach you in university. In university, they'll tell you you can never time the market. and they try to tell you all kinds of ways of figuring out what a good value is for stocks and prices and earnings per share and all this fundamental nonsense. After university, you realize that's all nonsense. Basically, people who do well in life, they just hire the professionals to work on some of the details for them. But the difference is you do actually can anticipate the timing of the markets much better, because the timing of the market is based completely on human emotions, which goes through a cycle. If you really want to know the details of the cycle, I think it's called having sign cycle theory. That's kind of probably a little bit more information than for this channel at this point, but I'll probably put it in a video or a course down the line. Nonetheless, you got the cyclic motion like a wave, euphoria, depression, euphoria again. And once again, if I take the last cycle instead of the cycles from 2 periods ago, overlay the total crypto market to the capitulation zones, and in this case it's even more accurate. Like you can see, this time is not different. In fact, it's so much like the prior cycles. Right now it's been lining up completely. It does show a little bit of a pullback. Personally, I couldn't care less about this little pullback here. I'm not going to be playing the game of hot potato for this 20% that goes on here. I was buying way back in June, December, and October. That's when the capitulations was. If you follow me on Twitter, even though I'm not very I don't post a lot on YouTube, I am on Twitter quite a bit, and I repeatedly said December was for accumulation. Wait for the capitulations, buying that zones. In this cycle, I'm already up on average. It's basically what the market is. Well, actually, I'm doing a little better. This is showing 170%. I'm closer to about a 3x already now. That said, we got a ways to go. And this chart here also shows something goofy going on right around November, which is the election period, but the cycle top around the May 2025. So here's 2 charts that are coinciding with that periods. Of course, maybe you don't care about Bitcoin. Maybe you don't care about the entire market. Maybe you just care about your favorite shitcoin. Let's see the others chart. The others chart is essentially the market cap of all the cryptos excluding the top 10. I like this chart because it excludes all the major stable coins and their market cap. So that said, once again, if you take the previous cycle, go to the top, take the capitulation zone, go to where the market capitulated. Oh my goodness, what do you know? It's exactly the same. This time is not different, guys. Don't worry about the tops to the top. Go from the bottom using the RSI, the capitulation zones, measure it out, and once again you can see it looks like we got a bit of a rotation in cryptos. I think what's going to happen is, I know quite a few cryptos, even in my own portfolio, some of them haven't been moving just yet. It seems like AI and Solana and some other coins have taken over, but Solana won't be in the others category necessarily, but it's pretty close to a top 10 coin all the time, bouncing back and forth. That said, you do have a lot of coins that some have been up 300, 400, 500%. Some are just sitting at around 70% gain. So I anticipate a little bit of a rotation in crypto for the next month or two, and then a push up into November, a pretty good push up. If you're going by the others market, and I think this is going to be fairly accurate since the amplitude is so accurate and everything's moving about the same. Even from here, we're looking at around a 5x on coins. And on this chart, 5x in the others market, if you're in some solid 100-ish to 200 place coins on market cap, that's probably where the best meat in the market's going to be. I anticipate you're going to be doing quite well, and especially if you're way down here. So if we're looking at a 5x from here, I'm already at a 3. That's a 15x. That's pretty damn good money. You're not going to be making 15 to 20x on your money every 4 years, right? That's huge. So 15x on top of my 30x from the period before. It's fantastic. I love the crypto. I like how crypto is algorithmically based. It's not based on guys in a dark room making decisions on the market and the interest rates and how much money they're going to print. Everything's on algorithm. It also has a kind of a wave pattern based on the adoption, which is really nice. So I don't know how long this is going to continue. There will be a point where markets will stabilize, I think, but we are still very much in the adoption phase. The entire derivatives market has got to get on board and get tokenized. Basically, the AI revolution is here. In my opinion, we already passed the singularity point. So that the economy of that market is clearly going to be crypto based, not based on some slow moving silver or commodity based system for the last 60,000 years. So nonetheless, here you go, guys. We got a little bit of an indicator, a time period for you to set your watch by. And if you even want a few examples of cryptos, try to find some cryptos that are basically going by the textbook pattern of the Wall Street cheat sheet. This here's a Wall Street cheat sheet. It's textbook, and just to use one example, there are many such examples. One is Polkadot and Polka Bridge. You can see here, textbook example of the Wall Street cheat sheet. High, low, rollover, going back into the disbelief phase. High, down, rollover, going up. We can even chart it out like this. This was the easy spot. If you would have been following me on Twitter way back in October, a lot of coins were doing exactly this. We had a low point below the trend line and bullish divergence is showing. I mean, it's literally textbook. Here's a textbook. I'm not making an analogy. Literally in the textbook, this is what these patterns look like. And there's a lot of patterns like this. One reason I like Polkadot over and Polka Bridge and some other coins like this and Cardia Chain and a whole bunch of others is I have a means to plot out when and where to sell my coin. Like, I know some people love these coins in the AI world that like are going to be rocking and rolling to the upside, but like I have no way of knowing, are they following exactly the crypto market cycle? Are they following their own price discovery cycle? I don't know where the top is. I don't know where the bottom is. I would rather make a little bit less and take on significantly less risk on a coin with good fundamentals that I can measure when and where to sell the coin. Like this gives me a wonderful view of where I'm going. I know these types of coins are going to be going up, just like we discussed, up until about May of 2025. I have a way of measuring out where the resistance zones are when to sell. So for example, if this coin goes up and it's just touching the all-time high in November of 2024 during the election, that's probably a good time to sell and reaccumulate before it pushes up into the new all-time high. Like, I can plan my life a little bit around these types of coins. Whereas some of these other coins that are all hype going into price discovery, I mean, they're great on paper. You can tell all your friends at Thanksgiving and suck them in on the coin and get dumped on. But for me, I'd rather be able to plot my life with a chart with some historical data. So I hope this show here today helped you guys out. This is how I'm going to be going into 2024 and early 2025. And I will post a whole bunch of banger gem coins that I think you'd be interested in that have not yet pumped, just like Polkadot, Polka Bridge, Cardia Chain, even Hex. Let's pull up the Hex charts just for illustration. Let's see if it's doing something similar. I haven't looked at this one for a little while. I have a bunch of this I've accumulated. I'm gonna get rid of all this drawing. And what do you know? Oh, looks exactly the same. Looks like it's been dumped on, but I mean, if you go really closely, textbook pattern, down, up, low, dump, bullish, almost a bullish divergence forming in, but I'm pretty sure being that the rest of the market was low in here and they got sued by the SEC, this guy has a lot of room to run. Also, Richard Hart, he doesn't like being on exchanges, so he's not pushing the coin to be on exchanges. But as the adoption grows, I'm sure a lot of people will start putting on exchanges. I know MEXC already has it on its exchange. A bunch of others will, I'm sure, just from demand. And as they go on exchanges, this guy's going to skyrocket. So I do see a lot of good things for Hex. Also, Hex is a good entry point to get into the Pulse X and Pulse Chain brand and ecosystem. So it's a good on-ramp for people to get into here. And also, I know a lot of people don't like it for the market cap being so high, but Hex is a little bit different. They have a time commitment on their coins, so you can't just pull out their coins when you've committed them inside their ecosystem. So this guy here, I think, has a good ability to run. And once again, it's following exactly the Wall Street cheat sheet, so I can kind of anticipate where it's going to go up. Down here was the dump. How high this is going to go, I don't know, but like, I mean, if they were to go up to at least its old all-time high, I don't see why it can't go to its old all-time high. There's no, the tech itself seems to be solid. They never crash. There is adoption, and there's a lot of people who can say they got rich off of it to shill it to their friends already from the past cycle. And just from where it is now, you're looking at a 46x. So what's wrong with that? And not only that, even if it doesn't go up to 46x, say you just go to some of the resistance zones. Look at this, 31x, another resistance zone, 18x. Like, you don't even have to hold it to the end, even if it doesn't participate in the bull run in the same way as the other coins. Going up to an old resistance zone is getting 18x. Like, what's wrong with that, right? And you can set your watch by it. You have these nice resistance zones at, for example, the 20 cent mark and the 35 cent mark and the 50 cent mark. So if you're at November and we're in an election period and you're sitting at 35 cents and you got a strong bearish divergence forming on the RSI, it's easy to know maybe that you could sell the coin. Don't wait for another push up. It's just too much damn risk. So that's why I like some of these older coins. Hope this video helped you out, and yeah, let's enjoy the ride together, guys and gals. Bye bye.